All right, this event is coming up May 7th, next Saturday. It's at the Shrine of Black Madonna. How many people are familiar with Professor Kaba Kamene, also known as Booker T. Coleman? He's in Hidden Colors 1, 2, and 3. He's in the documentary Out of Darkness. He's going to be here in Detroit at the Shrine of Black Madonna. Toby was in here earlier. He's helping bring him here. We're showing the documentary Out of Darkness. It's from director Amadeuz Christ. I think Amadeuz Christ is going to be at this event also. But this deals with bringing a lot of African history out of the darkness into the light, understanding it and utilizing it as well. And we're going to do, Professor Kaba, myself, and Amadeuz Christ will do questions and answers as well. So this is at the Shrine of Black Madonna. Tickets are $15. It's 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And you can go online and buy tickets. It's at eventbrite.com, eventbrite.com. Just search for Out of Darkness, okay? And it's there. And I have the information on my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com as well. So hopefully we'll see you there. Bring your friends also. How many people are familiar with Dr. Dr. Diop? Okay, Dr. Diop was one of our great African Center scholars. He was a scientist. He was a linguist. He was an anthropologist. He was from Senegal. He was Wolof from Senegal. And in the documentary Out of Darkness, when Brother Kaba will be here next Saturday for a screening of it, the documentary is narrated by Professor Kaba Kamene, who's one of my teachers. Okay, I've done 2 lectures with him before. I've interviewed him numerous times on my shows, and we actually did a show together for a year called the Per Ankh Hour Questions and Answers Show. But in the beginning of the documentary, he references Dr. Dr. Diop. And Dr. Diop wrote African Origins of Civilization, Myth, or Reality, I think it is, and Civilization of Barbarism. He wrote a number of books. But Brother Kaba references Dr. Dr. Diop in the beginning, and he talks about how Dr. Diop said that there are 3 things that your oppressor is going to take from you to gain control over you and to conquer you. He said they're going to take away your history, your language, and your psychological makeup, or what's called your culture, which are your values, your interests, and your principles. What Professor James Small and Dr. Leonard Jeffries, 2 of my teachers, they call it your values, your interests, and your principles, or your VIPs. And these are 3 things that your oppressor is going to take away from you. They'll take away your history, your language, and your psychological makeup, or your values, interests, and principles. And then they're going to superimpose upon you their history, their language, and their culture, their values, interests, and principles, which influences the way you see reality. It changes your cultural paradigm, okay? And we've been taught to see reality through the eyes of Europeans. So he goes on to talk about how this is why, being that we're operating out of a European paradigm, whatever decisions we make that are supposed to be in the best interest of our people and to advance our efforts really work against us, and they work to empower our oppressor, because we've been taught to see reality through their eyes, and we're operating based upon their values, interests, and principles. So we have to come out of that paradigm, reclaim African history and culture, and that changes our values, interests, and principles. That changes our paradigm, reclaim our history, culture, language, spiritual systems, cosmology, etc. Stephen Biko, one of our great South African freedom fighters, he talked about how he died in 1978 from injuries suffered by South African police, but he talked about how the most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. The most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So we have to take our mind back.